Discussing encryption within an Amazon environment really means that we need to have a conversation about encryption in S3. Now, the important thing to consider about S3 being object storage is that many of those details are hidden from us. Our only access point is to S3 is really through HTTP, HTTPS to a bucket name, which is just a URL that we use. Another important consideration about encryption, especially encryption in storage, is that if you consider your technology stack, where you have physical resources at the bottom of that technology stack moving up through operating systems and application interfaces and the other things, right? The point at which you apply encryption it determines greatly the amount of protection that you're going to be afforded in the event that that data is compromised. When we're talking about encryption in S3, those encryption details about encryption and storage are really hidden from us, but we do still have some options to control the amount of protection that is provided. And those options, just to list them off very quickly, we have our S3 managed encryption keys. That's the first one. And these keys are just automatically managed by S3. There's no user control of those keys, no key rotation schedule that you can manage or anything like that. The second option is that we can rely on KMS, Key Management Service from Amazon, to provide the keys that S3 will then in turn use to write that data off to the Amazon storage devices in an encrypted fashion. And then the third option is that we can also use KMS, but in this case, these are customer directly managed. We load our own key that we generated offline into KMS, and the key rotation schedules and the key material and the management of those keys are exclusively on the Amazon customer. Those are our three options. Now, just a caution against using that first option, where it's automagical and it just happens, is that the more magical something is, the less it protects against us, just as a concept, not a blanket statement in 100% of the cases. But in the case of using S3 managed keys, anybody who can make a valid authenticated call to the S3 bucket is able to decrypt that data. It just happens automatically, right? So a word of caution against that. Whereas at least if we're using the KMS, that second option, the KMS-driven key management, we are able to enforce key rotation. We are able to enforce access policies, IAM policies onto those keys. And it is even possible at that point to make encrypted calls, to make proper calls to the S3 bucket, but not have access to the key, and therefore what you receive is encrypted data back. And that's the kind of protection that we want for the most sensitive of data, that we would be using S3 for storage of that data.